So let me back up my analysis of Governor Walz's political standing. You'll remember the George Floyd riots, 2020 in the spring. Devastating to Minneapolis. All right, a police headquarters set on fire. Horrible, horrible. Here's what the governor said. Go.
Help us use humane way to get the streets to a place where we can restore the justice so that those that are expressing rage and anger and demanding justice are heard.
So in the face of rioting, burning, looting, he wants to get to a humane place. Okay. All right. Do you need any more? So the riots led to 3 deaths, 57 people hurt in Minneapolis. All right. 500 million in damage. City still has not recovered. And there were 100 people arrested. 95 out of the 100 had their charges dropped. 95 out of 100. That means there's no justice under Governor Walz because these are state charges. Okay? 95 out of 100. Now, 100 arrests is low. So cops were only arresting the worst of the worst. They let them go. Okay, that's number one. Big strike. All right? Big strike against Walz. Number 2, he's a sanctuary city guy. Openly sanctuary state. Minneapolis sanctuary city, largest city in the state. All state of Minnesota. He ordered his law enforcement not to enforce federal immigration law. He provided migrants with free everything, healthcare, education, whatever, and he gave them driver's licenses. Number 2. Okay. Number 3, on every issue, Governor Walz is far left. Roll the tape.
Across the country, politicians are bringing government into your exam room and your bedroom, going after contraception, abortion medication, and IVF. When Roe versus Wade was overturned 2 years ago today, the door was wide open for this kind of attack on families. We've made Minnesota a more welcoming place by outlawing conversion therapy for LGBTQ youth and protecting trans Minnesotans. We're not spending our time and energy and political capital picking fights with beer companies and librarians. We're putting bullies in their place.
Okay. No, I don't think you need any more, do you? If you need more, I have it, but I don't want to be, overdoing this. But if you have questions, bill@BillO'Reilly.com, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. On every single issue, Governor Walz is to the left and far left. So he and Kamala, they'll have no disagreements on any policy issue at all. None. Now, the wiser choice would have been Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania is in play and the Democratic Party needs it to defeat Donald Trump. Shapiro is not picked because he's Jewish, and he issued a strong order against the protests, the pro-Palestinian protests in Pennsylvania. Cracked down on them hard, so we're not going to tolerate that here. That disqualified Josh Shapiro from running with Kamala Harris, which shows you how the far left controls Harris, even more than they control Joe Biden. That's hard to believe, but even more. So Shapiro would have far and away been a better pick because he's much more moderate than Walz, and he's in Pennsylvania. Minnesota's going to vote for Kamala Harris no matter what. Okay, they get no electoral votes by putting Walz on the second. What they get is to placate the far left, and the result is that they have the furthest left ticket in American history by far. There's nobody even close in this arena. Harris-Walz we've never had in this country a further left presidential ticket, ever. McGovern, this makes George McGovern, you may remember, ran on the peace platform against Nixon. Makes him look like a moderate, McGovern. I interviewed McGovern. He wasn't crazy left. He was a peacenik. Okay, so the fascinating part is this going to work? Do the American people want this kind of leadership? Because you know what it leads to. It leads to government dominance over every part of our life. That's what the progressives want. No free marketplace, no individual liberties to protect yourself with firearms, okay? Abortion up to the last second to birth. All of this stuff is just staggering to me as a historian. I really, this is such an interesting election on so many fronts.